I hope everyone is doing well. Florida State and LSU played last night, and Florida State absolutely turned it on them in the last 12 and a half minutes of the game. I'm going to get into that in just a second. 45-24, the Seminoles win. Hey, I'm Brian Knight. I'm not Bobby Durkins. Right now, my nose is itching. The old timer says if your nose is itching, somebody's going to show up here at your front door. I don't know if that's the truth. But you showed up here, and I appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. You can also join and support the channel below. I have different tiers there to where it's very, very affordable if you want to support the channel. Also, there's super thanks in here. And if anything, just subscribe because it is free. So I appreciate everybody who's hopping in here. Grafnar is in here right now. Grafnar, I hope you had a great time in Atlanta the other night. Folks, I'm going to jump right into this. This game was one of those games that, well, basically everybody was waiting to watch over the weekend. You have number 8, number 5. LSU lost last year to Florida State. That Florida State team went, 10-3, something like that? They lost 3 games in a row. Wake Forest, Clemson, and NC State last year. If my memory serves me correct, right off the top of my head, that was the 3 teams they lost to. So the idea is that LSU was supposed to come in and LSU was supposed to dominate. You know, Harold Perkins really showed up last year. That was a common talking point before this game. Jaden Daniels, a lot of people says he's probably the best quarterback in the SEC. What's up, Ken, Tyler, J. Coop? It's good to see you guys. But what's really, really interesting about this game is how both teams went back and forth. They went back and forth, and literally it was 21-14 or something like that, 21-17, something like that, until about the 13-minute, 12-and-a-half-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and Florida State absolutely turned it on. Jaheim Bell, the former Gamecock, how did y'all let him leave Columbia? How? Please. And if you say funny money, well, you should have got your own funny money because everybody now can do the whole funny money thing. What's up, the real McCoy? It's good to see you. But that guy, he did great. But the bell of the ball with 9 receptions, 122 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns is the Michigan State transfer, Keon Coleman, 6'5", 215, 220 pounds. Yes, folks, 9 receptions, 122 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This guy went up last night and put on a clinic on how to high point the football. He went straight up in the air. He grabbed the football. He bested his defender. Jordan Travis, credit to him. He put the ball in the area he needed to put in. Just give the man a chance. It doesn't have to be a perfect pass. An athlete like Keon Coleman, who is 6'4". Then you go to Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7". Those guys, here's what you do. You put the ball near them and let them do the rest. And that's exactly what happened. And this guy put on a clinic last night. What an incredible show by Florida State. I'm going to get into some statistics here in just a moment. But I know that somebody here, and I want to address this really quick. I know somebody here from the Florida State side of things. If you've been watching any of my videos, or if you just dislike Clemson, and you've been watching my videos, and you've heard me say that I am not sold on Florida State. Folks, what I said was, yes, I am not sold on Florida State. Prove it to me. Prove it to me that you're a better football team. I've said that about Penn State. I've said that about Washington. I've said that about Texas. Why? Because I know why the big media outlets pump up a lot of teams. It's to get these fan bases involved, Get them to watching sports early, jack up those ratings, sell the publications, whether they're actual physical paper magazines or whether they're online subscriptions. That's why they do what they do. And so Florida State actually went out last night and was like, we're going to prove that we're better. My Clemson Tigers will play tonight in about, 2.5 hours. The quarterback issue of, having a guy there that doesn't really fit the system, having a guy there that's throwing the ball into the ground, into the dirt, having an offensive coordinator who is just seemingly not the right person for the job, or with Tony Elliott, he was complacent. Those days are gone. Yes, this is game one. Yes, Clemson has to step up. Yes, Clemson has to get the first game mistakes out of the way. But all of those distractions are gone. You now have Garrett Riley. You now have Cade Klubnik. You supposedly have a healthy wide receiver room. I didn't Google that before I got on here. So, probably one of our wide receivers' heads fell off. And they called it rolling down the streets of Durham, and I don't know about it yet. But tonight, Clemson has to go out and prove that they're legitimate. Florida State went out and did that. So here's just some quick numbers for you. Jordan Travis was 23 of 31, 342 yards, and 4 touchdowns passing. He did throw an interception. That interception that he threw was really brainless. They were throwing a screen, a wide receiver screen out to the left. It had completely collapsed, and he still threw the ball. That was the dumbest thing he did all night. It scares me that he did that. But other than that one dumb move, 23 of 31, 342, and 4 touchdowns, the guy came out and slung it. He wasn't out there to try to reinvent the wheel. He has 6'4" Coleman. He has 6'7" Johnny Wilson. Jaheim Bell. He hit that beautiful pass. Beautiful read. Beautiful play. To Jaheim Bell, the former Gamecock. And yes, I love saying that. Even if we have to play him, even if he does well against Clemson, I still enjoy saying that. That even with Beamer ball going so well down there, and all the South Carolina fans, they were so excited, and nobody wants to leave South Carolina. Jaheim Bell did. He wasn't sold on all this bunch of crap. Trey Benson, Florida State's running back, 12 carries, 47 yards. On the LSU side of things, Jaden Daniels, 22 of 37, 347 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was also the leading rusher for the team with 15 carries, 64 yards. At wideout, number 11, Brian Thomas Jr., 6'4", 205 pounds, 7 receptions, 142, and 1 touchdown. He was the guy who split the DBs at about a minute and 25 seconds to score, because at that time, Florida State was up 45-17. I mean, they had just balled. Absolutely went off on Florida State. So he had that long play. Okay. He had that long play to Brian Thomas, or else the score would have been even worse. Have a whole lot more people who's just joined me in here. Parker Henderson's in here. It's good to see you, my friend. The Noles did look scared. They looked pretty good. I don't think I've ever heard anyone sum up Brian Kelly's career any better than that. FSU was more physical than LSU. Travis did, yeah. Come on, Cigar Preppers in here. Taking ESPN. I agree. I agree with Jacob. Get YouTube TV or Fubo. Yeah. What stream is playing the game? I will tell you this. There's some people who illegally streams the games on YouTube, like just regular YouTube. Like, you could find the Georgia game real easy the other night. And so you should just check that out. Luke the Tar Heel, it's good to see you in here, pal. It's been a while. If our defense is legit, UNC could throw a wrench in this whole FSU Clemson hype. I'm going to tell you this, Luke. Your team looked way better than what I thought they were going to look against South Carolina. I expected South Carolina to win that game. I made a very dumb decision by using logic to pick the Gamecocks. Maybe I've been around too many Gamecocks recently. I thought overall they had more talent. Drake May basically has lost every great wide receiver either between the draft or, the NCAA doing NCAA things or someone being injured, and he still came out there and balled and made South Carolina look stupid. And by the way, Spencer Rattler, kudos to that guy, running for his life. He was sacked 9 times, didn't throw an interception, didn't throw a touchdown, but Gamecock or not, if I'm the offensive line and if I'm the Gamecocks right now, I'm embarrassed that I let that happen. UNC did look a lot better. FSU has made everyone sit up straight and take notice. Got Chase Henderson in here. May there to you, my friends. Good to see you. Got the Henderson sisters in here. And I'll throw this out there, folks, before I dive back into the stats for LSU and FSU. The ticket prices, if you go to SI Tickets, I know everybody uses Ticketmaster or StubHub or SeatGeek, whatever you use, but I'll watch SI Tickets. The tickets for the Florida State Clemson game is absolutely outrageous now. The bad tickets, I'm talking about way up there where you're sitting on top of the stadium and they give you a hat with a red light on it. So when small planes are taking off over at Oconee Airport, when they're ascending, they don't hit a person and kill them. That's how high up. And those tickets are still like $250, somewhere around there. Big mix in here. So let's dive into some of the stats for the Florida State Seminoles and LSU Tigers. And I'm gonna run through this pretty quick. What's interesting is a lot of the numbers are really close. A lot of the numbers are really, really close. And what happened in those last 12 and a half minutes of the game? What happened in the last 12 and a half minutes of the game? And it was what, 24-17, something like that? Yeah, 24-17. I'm looking at it right now. You have a 7-point game. It's anybody's game. And then just absolutely the down busted and LSU drowned. First downs, LSU had 23. Florida State had 22. Their down efficiency was a problem for LSU. They were 3 of 10. Florida State, 9 of 14. On fourth down, LSU was 0 for 3, and Florida State was 1 for 1. That's a big difference. We get to total yardage. Total yardage was not too far off either. LSU had 460 yards. Total yards. Florida State, 494. Passing, LSU, 347. Florida State, 359. 12-yard difference, folks. Rushing was pretty close. Rushing yards off of 27 attempts for LSU was 113. For Florida State, 34 rushing attempts for 135 yards. Turnovers, LSU had 2. Florida State had 1. Penalties, the Seminoles, they had 7 penalties for 64 yards. That's a big deal. Penalties for LSU. 2 penalties for 30 yards. A couple of personal fouls. Time of possession, Florida State dominated with 35 minutes to the 24 minutes of LSU. That's a big deal. But do you notice how on those other, like total yards is very close. Passing yards, very close. Rushing, very balanced between the two of them. Both of them had at least 1 turnover. Both of them basically had the same amount of first downs. And there was sloppy first game moments. We all saw it. I saw it. It's crazy. Folks, Tiger Fangirl 78, she says, "May there to me. May there to you, my friend." And she actually has joined the Bobby Durkins, not Bobby Durkins channel. So I have a couple of different tiers in there. If you want to support the channel monthly, it's so cheap you probably wouldn't realize the money was gone. So Tiger Fangirl, thank you for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And go Tigers. Jay Melvin in here said, "What's up? What's up, Jay Melvin? It's good to see you in here." Chase Anderson, was it me or did it seem like there was some really funky calls that went against Florida State that went the same happened to LSU they didn't call? There was a couple of awkward moments last night across the board. I mean, I went back and watched just the highlights just to kind of pull everything together because a lot happened. And I'm telling you, it was, you could tell it was a first game. It was a first game with a lot of hype around it. Big Mick, I'll tell you what Travis was on the field. What's up, Truth? I'll tell you what Travis was on the field. Travis was on the field to send the message that we're not going to let you back in this one. Jay Melvin, you're right. The LSU got into the red zone multiple times. Those fourth downs I was talking about, the over 3 fourth downs for LSU, those came at massive times. Massive. And can you only imagine that the energy that was going through the Florida State defense? Bend but don't break, baby. Bend but don't break. And they did it. Remember, LSU was a 2-point favorite. Now, that's a toss-up and thing. Truth, I agree with you. At this point, we really don't know who's a top 5 team and who's not. Other than a few teams. I take that back. After watching Georgia play and watching how their offensive line was having problems against UT Martin, just transparently, I can't say that at this point that Georgia has proven, even in game 1, that they are a top 5 team. There's some great commentary going on here in the comments section. For everybody, once again, if you haven't subscribed and you watch me all the time, please subscribe. It's free. If you're brand new here, you're a Florida State fan, you're like, "Hey, man, you're wrong. You should have believed in my Seminoles." They made more of a believer out of me. That's what you have to do to get believers. I understand this whole underdog thing. If anybody understands it, it's a Clemson fan, because Swinney has played that song well for years, and it's great to get people all fired up and stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want to make believers out of people, just go out and do it. I can't believe you didn't believe in us. Whether it's Florida State or whether it's Georgia or whether it's Clemson or whether it's Ohio State, if you're serious, you'll prove it. That's the way you make believers. Have 62 people in here. It's great to see you. Let's dive in a little farther. So 45-24, Florida State opens up a can at about the 12.5-minute mark at the fourth quarter. It was 24-17. It was 45-17 at about the 1:30 mark left in the game, and the big pass down to Thomas, and he split two secondary members from Florida State, made them look silly. But at that point, who cares? I just padded his stats, made them look stupid for the moment. But overall, Florida State won that. And once again, right before the first half, how about that pass from Jordan Travis to Keon Coleman? That was a big boy play. You can't tell me that LSU did not know that was coming. Did not know that was not coming. They knew, they had to know that was coming. So let's talk about both of these teams. Who do they have next? Next up, LSU. LSU they didn't have anyone to look forward to. They have Grambling next. After that, they have Mississippi State on the 23rd, the same weekend that Clemson plays Florida State. They have Arkansas. Then they're at Ole Miss. That will be the first decent game that they have, like solid competition that they've had since the Florida State game. I'm not saying that Mississippi State or Arkansas is going to be just easy, but definitely Ole Miss is better. So that's what's coming up for LSU. What's coming up for Florida State? Florida State's going to play Southern Miss. Clemson's one of their former quarterbacks who transferred in. I can't remember the guy's name. I believe Frank Gore Jr. is the running back there. But I believe they win that game. They're going to play Boston College on the 16th. Of course, they have our Tigers in Death Valley. That'll be a game day. As long as Clemson doesn't blow it tonight, which I don't believe they will. Clemson and Florida State playing on the 23rd. That will be a college game day. I can't think of anything else that would be going on at that time that would garner college game day other than Clemson and Florida State. So, I'm going to go back through here. Got a bunch of people in here. The comment section through here is fantastic, folks. I try not to get on here and just read comments out loud because I know people are getting on here to see the video and hear my commentary. But if you have the comment section, the live chat, which you won't be able to chat when you watch this later and it's over. I know you know that, or hopefully you know that. But read this chat. This is great chat. Parker Henderson, Jay Coop, Dale, Ian McGregor. Those guys were freshmen. Renee Arlen. Let's go Tigers. Good to see you. Truth in here. Tiger Paul Craven. I had him on last night, and I'm just going to tell you right now, he did a great job, but I talked too much. I talked way too much. And so I went back to actually work on the video and edit it down, and my mic was distorted, and so I deleted the video. And so I'm going to have Tiger Paul Craven. Hopefully Jordan can join us, but we had a great video last night. We just talked about Clemson, college football. Florida State had just kicked off. So, folks, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. There's 67 of you in here right now. I'm going to close down this video. Don't go anywhere. Let me make the announcement. I'm going to close down this video, and I'm going to start a preview for tonight's game, or the pregame. Now, I'm not going to stay on here for a very, very long time, okay? I'm not going to stay on here forever. I'm actually going to go downstairs and let my family beat on me. That's what they like to do. The laughter of a child. But I'm going to do just a pregame, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to the game, what the dynamic of Florida State winning like they did yesterday is actually doing for the game for us, and talk a little bit more about college football, what happened this past weekend, maybe preview just a touch of what we're going to see a little later on in the coming days. Folks, once again, if you want to join and support, I have several tiers to where I say several, it's a few different tiers. They're very affordable if you want to support the channel. All right. Also, super thanks in here if you want to support the channel. Once again, I will call out Tiger Fangirl 78. She's a member of the Not Bobby Durkins Club, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will catch everybody here in just a moment. As always, it's always going to be a Clemson fan, and go Tigers.